UFC Freedom 250 just took place a couple days ago, and I'm still recovering off this Ilia Topuria loss. After the fight was over, I then started to think about what is next for both of these guys. But before I get into that, I do want to talk about the fight a little bit, and I'm going to let you guys know that I only watched the fight once. This loss hurt me so bad that I just can't watch it again. I just can't. But not going to lie, the UFC production team did an amazing job. From the press conference to the ceremonial weigh-ins, and of course leading up to the event, all the fighter walkouts were pretty badass. To even seeing all the fans at the fan fest watching the fight. When they first announced that they were going to do this last year, I honestly didn't believe it. I didn't think it would be done, but they managed to still pull it off, which was a really dope experience. So shout out to the whole UFC team because they did an amazing job. But now let's get into the fight. So going into round one, from what I remember is Justin Gaethje had a lot of success with the jab very early on, and he could see the damage on Topuria's left eye very early because halfway through the first round it was already red. But Ilia managed to hit Justin Gaethje multiple times with the right hand, and it would almost stun Justin every time he hit him with it. And in the last 20 seconds of that first round, it almost seemed like Ilia really tried to get him out of there in the first round, like how he said. And I think that really played a part in this fight because he was really trying to force this knockout because there was a lot of energy being wasted in that first round. But going into this second round, it was a very crucial part in this fight that I'll never forget, just because Ilia Topuria really had a chance to finish this fight. 2 minutes left into that second round, Topuria had him backing up to the cage, and he started to throw a lot of nasty body shots, and he would eventually drop Justin. And from the looks of it, I think he was a few punches away from finishing this fight, but he would manage to get on top mount, and when he did, Ilia wasn't really punching him, which was very odd. But you can see Ilia was very tired from trying to finish this fight, and for some reason he would attempt to get him in a triangle choke, but once he failed to get it, he then attempted an armbar, but Justin managed to get out of it really quick. But at the end of the round, Ilia managed to end up on top mount where he finished the round. But once he got up, you could just see how exhausted he was from that second round. And once I saw that, I knew it wasn't a good sign at all, because I'm sure Justin noticed that as well when he was getting up, because 2 minutes into that third round, that's where he fucking dropped Ilia Topuria with a nasty right hand. And once that happens, Justin immediately goes for a Darce choke, but of course he wasn't able to get it, and Ilia survives that round. But during the break, for some odd reason, the doctor seems to almost call off the fight, but it still continues. And not gonna lie, Topuria's face going into that fourth round, he looked fucking crazy. And in that moment, I was just praying. I was praying for him. None of us ever seen him get a bad beating like this, and it hurt me to see this. But at the end of the fourth round, Justin Gaethje landed a nasty knee to the ribs on Ilia, and that was pretty much the end of it. Ilia's corner called the fight, and sadly, that's all she wrote. Man, just editing this video and just talking about it just hurts. I can't lie, it hurts. But you have to give Justin all the credit he deserves, because coming into this fight, he was a huge underdog, and he was damn near doing the impossible. And although it ended the way I didn't want it to end, it goes to show why this is the best sport in the world, in my opinion, of course. But this is exactly why it's the best. 95% of the people were counting out Justin Gaethje, including me, of course. But Justin was just a better fighter that night. And look, Ilia has a lot of haters, and I can understand that, because he beat all the fan favorites, and he comes out as cocky, and how he celebrates a day before the fight. But at the end of the day, it's just a character. He's willing to put his reputation on the line every time he fights, and a lot of fighters don't do that, because something like this could happen and they end up losing. But it's a part of the game, and respect to both of these guys for an amazing fight. I kid you not, I haven't been able to sleep since the fight, but respect to Justin. But now, what's next for them? I think we should start with Ilia because he lost. Of course, this is no surprise, but he should just take a while to recover and get some rest, because an ass beating like this can really impact his career. There's a lot of fighters that don't recover from damage like this and never fight the same, but hopefully we can see him come back early 2027. And just today, Ilia did post talking about his first loss, with him saying, "Justin, congratulations. You said you leave a mark on my face, and you did. And you took the sight from my right eye in the first round, and by the end of the second, from my left too. No excuses. I had one of the best camps of my life. I came in shape and prepared. Last night was your night. I'll heal and return stronger, wiser, and far more dangerous. And trust me, this story between us is far from over. We will have our rematch." But with Ilia losing, this really shakes up the lightweight division, and now we definitely won't see him go up against Islam. I feel like that door is closed, sadly. But now we could see him face guys like Patty, Armin, Benoit Saint Denis, Rufy, or even Justin for the rematch. And I know a rematch sounds crazy, but what he did before fighting Justin was legendary. Let's not forget that Volkanovski got knocked out by Ilia Topuria, and his very next fight was supposed to be against Ilia, but of course Ilia went up to lightweight, so he ended up fighting Diego Lopez for the belt. But this man Ilia captured 2 belts in 2 different divisions, so I could possibly see him getting that rematch. But I do believe that a rematch against Justin Gaethje would not go the same way. And it sounds like I'm glazing, but to be honest I am. But I think it all depends on Justin Gaethje, of course, because his original plan was to retire after defeating Ilia Topuria, but from the looks of it, it seems like he isn't. And in my honest opinion, he should have retired when he had the chance, with a fairy tale ending. Because in an interview, he said that Ilia Topuria does not deserve a rematch because he got sent to the hospital and he didn't. But if Justin chooses to defend his title, then his next possible opponents can be Armin or Charles, since Ilia is going to take a long break. But I think Armin or Charles defeats Justin Gaethje. Yes, he looked good against Ilia, and maybe it sounds like I'm hating on Justin, but he's getting up there in age, and he already lost to Charles for the belt a while back. And right now Armin is on another level compared to him when it comes to the wrestling department. But if Justin plans to defend his belt, I could definitely see him fighting this year in December. And if that's what he chooses to do, I think the UFC will match him up against Armin. Not only because Armin already defeated Charles, but he's been the #1 contender for a while now, and I think he deserves that title shot. And I think the UFC wouldn't mind Armin being as a champion, because he already has beef with Patty and now Ilia Topuria, and those matches would be insane in the future, and those fights would sell themselves. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. I believe the UFC and Hunter will do the right move for Justin, but like I said, it really comes down to Justin Gaethje. If he sees himself defending the belt this year, and if he does, it will 100% not be Ilia. But also he could choose to just enjoy having the belt for a while and have him sit out for the rest of the year, and could possibly fight Ilia in February or March of next year. I feel like that's most likely going to happen, and a lot of people might not like the idea, but if Sean O'Malley was able to get a rematch against Merab after losing the way he did, and if Diego Lopez was able to get a rematch after losing against Volk when it wasn't really a close fight in the first one, don't be surprised to see Ilia rematch Justin, because TKO or the UFC will do the business move and make it a rematch, and most likely have Charles go up against Armin Tsarukyan, with the winner fighting the champion. It doesn't seem fair, but I think that's what's most likely the outcome of all this. And I've been seeing a few tweets talking about the damage Ilia took, and nothing requires surgery, so this is a really good sign, because if that was the case, he would be out for very much longer. But since there's no surgery required, like I said, there's a good chance the rematch is going to happen. But I hope Ilia has a speedy recovery, because I cannot wait to see him come back and fight again. So we will be back. This is not the end of us, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm trying to stay consistent with these videos, but we'll see. But I'll see you guys in the next one.